Hey, moms and dads. So this year I asked our athletes to talk about their favorite memory from the season, their favorite workout partner, and then, of course, why they would recommend the sport of wrestling. I just wanted to thank you for, another wonderful season of wrestling. It's my favorite time of year. I love seeing the amount of personal growth that our athletes go through, the bonds we build. It's so much fun, and I think that's kind of reflected in some of the answers that you'll see in this video. So enjoy.
My favorite memory for wrestling is probably when I medaled in Marion. My favorite partner is Luke because he encouraged me and helped me to do everything correctly. And I would recommend wrestling because it's good for you and it keeps you active through the winter season.
My favorite memory is playing hacky sack with all the guys before the meets. My favorite partner was Brock because he always pushed me at practice, never went soft. He made me work really hard. He was a good partner. And I recommend wrestling because when you're out on the mat, it's one-on-one. You can't blame anyone else for your mistakes. It's you versus the other guy, and that's it.
My favorite memory in wrestling was playing volleyball at the Aquatic Center in Marion. My favorite wrestling partner was Reese Budke because he was always the first one there for me to wrestle, and I always just enjoyed wrestling with him. And why I would recommend wrestling to others is that it's good team bonding. You get to meet new kids and make new relationships with kids, and it's fun just going to meets and watching your friends wrestle.
My favorite memory over the wrestling season was state wrestling. We were coming back in from taking our stuff out to the van. This is right before the championships. Everyone made it by except for Reese. Reese was walking and they yelled, "Blue shirt, blue shirt." They catch him and they send him up to the stands, and we're all looking around for 10 minutes, and then we finally see him sitting in the Hoxie stands, but not in the stands, just like on the seat, or like on the stairs. Brian was in one of the seats, and he was on the stairs. My favorite teammate this year was Kinsey Rogers, my workout partner, because she has great energy, positive, works hard. Wrestling is the hardest sport, not just physically, but also mentally. If you truly want to be tough, this is what a bulldog does, is wrestle.
I had a lot of great memories this wrestling season, but my favorite would have been placing at state. Just the match that got me into the placings was probably the most memorable part of it all. Just the feeling that I got when I pinned the girl and the excitement that I was feeling was amazing. And knowing that I was going to be the first ever female in school history to place at state just made it 100 times better. Because that's a goal that I set for myself freshman year, was to become the first ever female state placer. And on top of all that, it was with my aunt in the corner, and with it being her first year ever coaching, it just made it much more memorable, and it's something that I'll never forget. My favorite teammate would be Luke and Micah. I couldn't just pick one because they're both great athletes and both great teammates to have in the room. Luke is an amazing wrestling partner, and he's someone that has been there every single match and has always supported me whether I win or lose. In the wrestling room, he always pushes me to be my greatest and never gives up on me. Micah is one of my favorite teammates because of his love for the sport and his determination that he has. He's one of the hardest workers I know, and I think that he has a lot of little kids looking up to him, and he's just someone that everyone would love to have in the room. I would recommend wrestling because of the bonds that you create during the sport. Spending 6 days a week with them is just something that not other sports teams do, and you get to know them a lot better and create strong bonds with them. I would also recommend it because it helps you create a good mentality, because in the sport, if you go in with a bad mentality, you're most likely not going to be very successful, because you have to have a strong mentality to win and to have the grit to continue going even after you lose. But I would just recommend wrestling because it's a good sport to know how to do, and it teaches you a lot of life lessons that will carry on with you as you get older and move on with your life.
My favorite memory from wrestling this season was buying stickers from the Mexican restaurant in Phillipsburg the night before the tournament. We were trying to get Flaming Hot Fardos for Mitch, but we couldn't get it. We kept getting other ones that were all hilarious, and we were all dying laughing, and the best part was seeing Coach Brian laugh like crazy. My favorite teammate from the season was Micah. He's a stone cold wrestler, always trying to improve upon his skills while dominating on the mat, and then he is always cheering for the others while they wrestled, no matter who it was. I recommend wrestling because you make unforgettable memories while staying in hotels hours from home and playing hacky sack for hours. You also learn how to be physically and mentally tough and just how to battle on the mat.
My favorite memory of the season overall would just be being able to experience the state tournament as a wrestler for the first time. But to pinpoint one thing, it would probably be when Reed got kicked out of the lower level of the state during the championship matches, and that's not knowing where he is, then later looking up and seeing him in the Hoxie fan section. I would have to say my favorite teammate would have to be my wrestling partner, Cal, because he was a pivotal part in all my successes this year by getting me better, and he practiced each and every day. But everyone on the team is a great teammate to have. Everyone always pushes each other in the wrestling room, but at the same time having fun with them. I would 100% recommend Boardwalk Wrestling to everyone. It's about the culture that we've built in the room, being able to have a good time while still getting better every day. We're kind of like one big family. We get up at 5 o'clock in the morning some days, and we just hang out all day long at meets and just having fun. Once you join the wrestling program, you're automatically part of the family and the culture that we have in our building.
My favorite memory from wrestling was the second day of state, because just getting to be with everyone, playing hacky sack, going out and eating, and especially picking the champions for each weight class. It was really fun for me. My favorite teammate was Micah, because you could always tell he was just going the extra mile. Then I recommend wrestling because it helps you build character and become a better person.
My favorite memory from wrestling has to be going to the state tournament my junior year, qualifying for that and winning in the blood round at regionals, but also just going to the state tournament either any year and being with the guys and having a great time and betting on finals and all that kind of stuff. Yes, state was a lot of fun. And my favorite partner has got to be Micah, just because I could tell how much Micah loves wrestling, and he's really dedicated to it and works really hard at it, and he's always trying to get better, and I think being his partner made me get a lot better at wrestling also. And I would recommend wrestling to anyone because it's hard and it's tough a lot, mentally, physically, but I think that it being so hard really it grew my toughness and dedication, not just to wrestling, but in everything I do, and really felt that it grew me as a person. So yeah, wrestling I enjoyed a lot all 3 years that I did it here.
My favorite wrestling memory was playing Mario Party the night before state wrestling. Just being in there with everyone and having a good time. It was really fun. And my favorite partner is Brock because he goes 100 miles per hour 100% of the time, which is awesome. And then why you should do wrestling, it's unlike any other sport. It's not just mentally, but also physically demanding. You just get a sense of accomplishment after you've done well because you know that you had to put in the work to get there, and that it's a solo sport, but it's also a team sport. So you can do well as an individual, but you can also do well as a teammate. And if you can do well at both, it's just something awesome.